You have to ask yourself, first of all, is this something I really want to do? And if it is, then you need to decide, independent of your friends, independent of your families, that this is something that I want to do. You need to do your research. You need to make sure you're comfortable, first with the company you're going with the whole concept, all of that. But once you've made that decision, then you need to do it. There's an interesting question, and we've gotten this question quite often, obviously. What do I tell my friends? Okay, I met someone I really like, or I'm going to do this, but some of my friends are against the idea, and I want them to be on board with me, obviously. So what do I tell them to make them feel comfortable? All right. And I went through the same thing when we started this. My friends and family were telling me, no, you shouldn't do this. Oh my gosh, what could happen? Look at all the things that can happen. You're going to go to Russia, you can come back as a brainwashed communist. Just the silliest things. And if I were to listen to all those silly things, then I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have met Tanya, who I actually met at an AFA social about 15 years ago. We wouldn't have the two wonderful children that we have today. And I wouldn't have had the opportunity to help the thousands of individuals that I have helped. I wouldn't have been able to do any of that if I would have listened to the people who were telling me that I was crazy for, going outside of the box or doing something different. And, 17 years ago, back, about 95 or so, that really was different, okay? There was hardly the internet. People weren't even dating yet on the internet. And to go to some place like Russia and meet someone was really thought to be out there. People are dating like crazy now on the internet. More marriages take place on the internet, I think, than in any other vehicle. So, for someone to be, against this, there's got to be something else going on there. You have to ask yourself, first of all, is this something I really want to do? And if it is, then, you need to decide, independent of your friends, independent of your families, that this is something that I want to do. You need to do your research. You need to make sure you're comfortable, first with the company you're going with the whole concept, all of that. But once you've made that decision, then you need to do it. Because if you allow other people to constantly influence you, then you're never going to get anywhere. But what I would do is, I would talk to them, because I understand that you want them to be on your side. I would show them all the facts. And if you go to our website, we have lots of information there, lots of facts about why this works, what really happens here, how the divorce rate is much less with intercultural couples than non-intercultural couples, how the spousal abuse rate is much less with intercultural couples than non-intercultural couples. I mean, a lot of the rumors that your friends and family or a lot of the information that your friends and family are going on is just misinformation and rumors. And once you start educating them on what really takes place with this, they start to see the light, like, oh wow, well maybe that isn't a bad idea. Now there's always going to be some that are just worried that, oh my gosh, if you go over there and successful, you're going to leave me behind, and I don't want you to do that. So they're always going to try and talk you out of it. That's just human nature. But you've got to get beyond that, okay? And other than that, the other thing I can advise you is to take a piece of paper and write the pros and the cons, okay? So the pros of taking advantage of a great opportunity such as international introductions, and then the cons of doing so. If nothing else, it will be the best vacation you've ever had. And the cost of that vacation is less than the cost of a comparable vacation that does not include, meeting hundreds and hundreds of women while you're there. All it includes is actually the airfare, the hotel, going on a few sightseeing trips, and that's it. So if you compare the two costs, they're the same. So you have nothing to lose financially. You'll have a wonderful vacation. You'll enjoy it much more than going with any other type of vacation where you're with a group of, blue-haired old ladies, or with us, where you're with a group of like-minded men who are there for, the same purpose as you are, is trying to find that one special person with whom you can share the rest of your life, and you're meeting all these different women. So when you're putting down the pros and cons, There's so many pros and there's so few cons. And even the cons that you do come up with, if you call and you talk to us, I'm sure that we can talk about those and give you resources to research that will show that those cons probably really don't even exist. So I'll tell you, if you look at it and you talk to your friends and your family logically and explain what you're doing and why you're doing what you really are doing.
Join men from all over the world as they take a trip and find their future brides. Interested? Check out our website at
ukrainesingles.com.
Don't forget to click on our red subscribe button and notice bell to get updated every time we add something new.